A large-scale fire has broken out near the town of Tokmak, which is temporarily occupied by Russia, in the Zaporizhzhia region. A Russian echelon with fuel is on fire, according to Petro Andriushchenko, head of the Center for Occupation Studies. The enemy train could have been hit by the Ukrainian Defense Forces on the railroad section between the village of Levadne and Molochansk. Our people on the ground confirm the main bonus: the railroad track is ruined. It will take a couple of weeks to replace it, which means the fuel will not go to the front for 2 weeks, he added. It is currently reported that 11 tanks are burning. Smoke can be seen 15 to 20 kilometers away. As a bonus, it is specified that the railway line is heavily damaged. Andryushchenko estimates that repairs will take 2 weeks. Accordingly, it will no longer be possible to deliver fuel to the front line by rail. The train is burning on the section of the railway between the village of Levadne and the city of Molochansk. The main intelligence directorate itself has not yet commented on this event. Recall, recently, at least 7 people were killed and 69 injured when a highway bridge collapsed onto railway tracks after an illegal interference, derailing a train in Russia's Bryansk region that borders Ukraine. The train's locomotive and several cars derailed, due to the collapse of a span structure of the road bridge as a result of an illegal interference in the operation of transport, Russian Railways said on the Telegram messaging app. Alexander Bogomaz, the governor of the Bryansk region, said on Telegram that 44 people were hospitalized. 3 children were among those injured with 1 in serious condition, he added. Russia's Ministry of Emergency Situations said on Telegram that efforts to find and rescue victims continued throughout the night, and that some 180 personnel were involved in the operation. Among those killed was the locomotive driver, Russia's state news agencies reported, citing medics.
We generally don't touch residents of Moscow, but let them spend the night in the metro. We don't sleep. Journalist Irina Uzlova voiced a proposal that came from many viewers of Channel 24, addressing it to Ukrainian expert, journalist Roman Tsimbalyuk. In response, the blogger said, "I have 2 answers. The first answer is short. It's time. The second answer, it's a question of tools. There is a lot of talk now about the fact that we have finally begun to implement our missile program. No one has officially presented it, but no one has denied it either. That is, there is logic in this, that we have a certain number of these ballistic missiles. The only question is how many. It is clear that this is a military secret, but I am interested in only one point. We must have as many of these missiles as we launch drones, and then the situation will change." The Ukrainian journalist expressed his opinion. Ultimately, it all comes down to tools. Today, it is clear that after crazy nights with a colossal number of victims, we want Russian blood. This is absolutely clear. I would direct this energy, you know where, to the Ministry of Defense, asking one question: where are the missiles, our dear friends? And do not say that there is no money. There is a rule that if money is needed, it will always appear. Plus, There are many states that believe that Russian Nazis should be punished for their war crimes. Roman Cymbaluk revealed the essence of the problem and proposed a solution. In Moscow, it is believed that Solovyov's program is the Kremlin's main propaganda agitation. It is believed that Putin watches this program from his bunker, and, as you have noticed, some strange notes have begun to sound here. They have lost their optimism. I have been watching these people for quite a long time. I know some of them personally, and so, let's say, they have not been in such a state of very sad faces for a long time. The journalist said, not without irony. At the same time, Roman Cymbaluk noted, "Why does the man have such a sad face?" You understand what I'm talking about now. The thing is that now in the swamps, they have somehow forgotten about Ukraine. They are watching Israeli missiles flying at Iranian ayatollahs, how Iranian generals are being downvoted, and are drawing some strange parallels. It seems that they practically don't need Ukraine anymore. Moreover, they have stopped giggling about Trump's policies. They have somehow become wary. What if he's leading them by the nose, too? As Russian losses have officially hit an unprecedented 1 million count, the breaking point finally came, and the soldiers began turning their rifles on their own commanders rather than face certain death in futile assaults. In a growing wave of mutiny and desertion, Russian soldiers started killing their officers, seizing vehicles, and fleeing deep into Russian territory and away from the front line. Express media outlet confirms that troops are reported to have shot their commanders, seized vehicles and fled the front lines as they desperately try to escape the battlefield slaughter. It is noted that Putin's forces have struggled for months to break Ukrainian defense lines in the Kharkiv region and have suffered massive casualties, particularly in an area dubbed the Pichany Funnel. Here, Ukraine's military has successfully been able to control its flanks, which has allowed it to hit Russian assault units with an unrelenting and deadly barrage of drone and artillery fire. Despite the daily massacres, Russian commanders have continued to throw their soldiers into the meat grinder in the hope of achieving a breakthrough. The systematic nature of these assaults has been likened to mass execution, with soldiers pushed forward not for tactical gain, but to serve as human battering rams. Express media outlet says that the senseless slaughter on the front lines has driven some Russian soldiers to take extreme action against their brutal senior officers. Several infantrymen shot and killed a platoon commander and 2 of his subordinates in a violent act of mutiny. The deserters left their comrades to die on the road while fleeing to save their lives from both Ukrainian and Russian fire. The shootings have sparked a massive manhunt by Russia's military police, who are desperately trying to track down the culprits. Meanwhile, Ukrainian forces say Russian troops on the Lyman front are suffering in droves as they run out of ammunition and food. Rostislav Yashchisin, a soldier from the 63rd Mechanized Brigade, told the media outlet Army Inform Agency that the Russians were no longer prepared to fight. The Russian units had been abandoned by their commanders and left to fend for themselves, eventually running out of water, food, and ammunitions. Russian commanders have become renowned for their brutal treatment of their soldiers, reserving their cruelest punishments for those refusing to fight anymore. Soldiers who resist are subjected to medieval-style torture. Some are thrown into pits without food before being forced to fight each other to the death to earn the right to live another day.